They say the things you're not supposed to want are the ones that dig the deepest, but no one ever warns you about what happens after the line is crossed, after the damage is done. This isn't a story about an affair. It's a story about what happens when boundaries disappear, when trust becomes blurry, and when love isn't what you thought it was. My name is Elizabeth Morgan. I used to be someone people admired, dependable, steady, the kind of woman who sent birthday cards on time, who folded laundry into perfect squares, who kissed her husband on the cheek every morning, even if it didn't mean anything anymore. My husband, David, was the kind of man who never changed. Calm, quiet, predictable. 20 years together, and I knew every expression on his face before he even made it. We built a life in a quiet town in North Carolina. It wasn't perfect, but it was stable, safe, and I thought that was enough. Until Ethan came into our lives. We adopted Ethan when he was 16. He'd been through too much, bounced from home to home, with nothing to anchor him. When we brought him into our house, he barely spoke, kept his head down. Like he was afraid if he got too comfortable, we'd throw him out too. And maybe that's why I loved him the way I did. Maybe I saw a version of myself in him. The parts of me I never let anyone else see. I gave him everything. Patience, love, attention. He started to open up slowly, piece by piece, and I told myself I was doing the right thing, that this was what mothers do. But something shifted over time and I didn't see it. Or maybe I did, but I ignored it because facing it meant admitting something awful, something I still hate myself for. One night, David was working late. I was cleaning up after dinner. Ethan had gone upstairs, said he was tired, but the house felt too quiet, not peaceful, tense, heavy. I don't know why I went upstairs. Maybe I just wanted to say goodnight. Maybe I was looking for something I didn't even realize yet. I knocked on his door. No answer. It was cracked open. I pushed it slightly and then everything unraveled. He was on his bed, shirtless, jeans unbuttoned, his hand between his legs. I froze. Completely. My breath caught in my throat. Every part of me screamed to walk away, to close the door, to pretend I hadn't seen anything, but I didn't move. And then he looked up. His eyes met mine, wide, ashamed, vulnerable. He yanked the blanket over himself, panic all over his face. I should have backed out, said something, anything. But I stepped into the room instead, and I closed the door. He didn't speak. Neither did I. It felt like time had stopped. I could hear my own heart pounding in my ears. And then I whispered, "It's okay." Those two words still haunt me, because they weren't okay. None of it was. But the way he looked at me in that moment, like I was the only person in the world who'd ever seen him, truly seen him, it broke something open inside me. Or maybe it exposed something that was already cracked. He said, "I think about you all the time. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it." And I don't know what came over me, but I reached out, brushed his cheek, and then he kissed me, soft, trembling, scared, and I let him. I kissed him back. It only lasted seconds, but it felt like everything in me shattered and realigned all at once. In that moment, he wasn't my son. He wasn't a boy. He was just a person who needed something, and I gave it to him. I wish I could tell you I stopped it right there. I wish I could tell you I was strong enough. But I wasn't. After that night, everything changed. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I avoided David. Ethan avoided me. The house was filled with silence that screamed louder than any argument ever could. David noticed. Of course he did. He asked what was wrong. I told him I was tired, distracted, nothing serious, just life. But life had already collapsed. I just hadn't admitted it yet. A few days later, Ethan came downstairs late at night. I was sitting in the kitchen, glass of wine in my hand, hoping it would numb the ache in my chest. He stood in the doorway and said, "We need to talk." I didn't even look at him. I just whispered, "We can't. This is wrong." He stepped closer. Too close. He said, "It wasn't a mistake. You felt it too. I know you did. I've loved you since the moment I came into this house." My hands started to shake. I couldn't breathe. I didn't want to feel anything, but everything inside me was on fire. And just as he reached for my hand, the front door opened. David. He was home early. He saw us, saw the space between us that wasn't wide enough, saw the expression on my face. The way Ethan moved back, guilty. David didn't say anything at first, just stared. And I knew he knew. Ethan left the room, and I stayed behind, staring at the floor. That night, David asked me, "What's going on with you two?" And I couldn't lie. I whispered, "Something happened." I didn't explain. I didn't justify. I just said the truth. And David's face broke, like I had physically reached into his chest and crushed something he'd been holding onto for years. He packed a bag, left for a hotel. Didn't come back. The divorce was quick, clean, brutal. He got the house, the dog, the normal life. I stayed in the guest room of a friend's place for a while, then got a tiny apartment downtown. Ethan moved out too. We never spoke about it again. Not really. We passed each other a few times in public. A nod, sometimes a look. But that was it. Once, months later, he messaged me, said, "You ruined everything." And he was right. I don't know what I thought would happen. Maybe I believed it was just a moment, a flicker, something we could both forget. But it doesn't work like that. The things you do in the dark don't stay hidden. They follow you. They crawl into your bed at night and whisper reminders into your ear while you try to sleep. Now I live alone. I still keep a photo of David and me on my desk. It's old, worn. But sometimes I stare at it and wonder what kind of person I would have been if that night hadn't happened. Or maybe I wonder if I ever really was the person I pretended to be. I'm not telling this story because I want sympathy. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even know if I deserve it. But I tell it because sometimes the worst things we do are the ones we never planned. Sometimes love gets twisted into something unrecognizable, and sometimes being seen,